4 years is very much a long time, right? It's a long time of growth, a long time of a lot of stuff that just kind of happens, and a long time of just, I guess, looking at the big picture of things that you've been spending a lot of time working, making these videos, putting out content, hoping that things will change up and happen. Yet, still, when you look at it, 4 years ago, was basically the year I basically started going to college, graduated from high school at that point, and then looking at it now, it's like at least in the physical eye, there has never really been anything that has shifted. Nothing really has truly shifted too much. But regarding here, a lot of things has happened. We met a lot of interesting people, a lot of different people that decided to just help and come through when it comes to the channel, and a lot of interesting people that has collabed with me before. Like, did I think I was gonna collab with some people? Honestly, no. Granted, I only collabed with 3 people before, but still, those 3 people I very much cherish the time of that collaboration and stuff. Whether it's Alice or Seth or Rune herself, which is still crazy that we got a collaboration with Rune, honestly. But with those times, I do look back at it fondly, honestly, because it's interesting. And hell, it just kind of leads me to believe there might be a day where I might interview someone, or collab with somebody that is someone I never thought I would collab with, but it will be interesting as hell to kind of see it, though. And in the time of it as well, I'm kind of learning how the system of YouTube works a bit. I'm still shaky on a lot of it, right? Like, I don't know what SEO is, but I'm still trying to figure some things out, and it's been somewhat of a learning experience, and it's been a weird thing. But in the 4 years of time too, we also have changed a lot too, right? 2019 was the start of everything, where I didn't necessarily know how I wanted to go about content or what I wanted to make. Then there was the whole thing in 2020 where nothing really kind of happened, honestly, and I'm just trying to again figure out my bearings when it comes down to YouTube in a way, and trying to see how I can get out there. 2021 was the year of a lot of things that started changing. Redo a Healer meme blew up, and that got some people in, 700 people. That was a big help. Then you had, Alice to come through, and a lot of people came through with that, and that was an amazing time, and she gave me a chance, and also helped create my Kokatsu body, which that was a longing thing I wanted to have for a while. And also the fact that we got Kokatsu by, Fenrir's jaw was also an amazing thing, right? Then we got our VTuber body, and we started to move away a little bit from the Danganronpa sprites to go into something new. And then that was like a whole thing in its own journey, and then we started making stories, and characters started to come through with that. And whether it was a good or bad transition as time kind of goes on, just kind of depends on you. I know there's people that still somewhat kind of miss the Danganronpa days. I know people really want me to go back to the sprites sometimes too, and I understand that. I do miss it a little bit, but at the same time, I always wanted to have my own form and wanted to show off what Jay would be like as a character, right? And I'm glad I'm able to do that. And granted, I've always, too, when it comes to this channel, didn't never really understand the idea of what Jason Vikes 4 is supposed to be, or who he's supposed to be, because for the longest time, really until 2022, I didn't really understand, what type of person is he supposed to be. Is he supposed to be a good guy? Is he supposed to be a bad guy? Is he supposed to be a maniacal, crazy person? What exactly is he? But the only thing I did know was that the person that plays Jay is completely different from the person that he is, whether it's in the story or whether he's on these videos recording whatever. And that's what it felt like to me, that we were two different beings in the same damn body. Or it felt like basically like Persona 5, how Joker can be like, this crazy ass person in Mementos, but then this regular ass high school student in the real world. And that's what it felt like for the longest time. To be honest, I would say by the time Blue came through into the picture and I had the dream about her, that's when I kind of realized, okay, we're both the same person. We just are, somewhat turned up a little bit, but also a little bit crazy as well. But we're basically the same person, and we just kind of got to work together. And that's kind of what I am right now. right? I don't feel that separation of what Jason Pikesport is. I feel like I am him now. And when it comes down to things, while I'm not necessarily exactly one to one with the person, it's still like there's a lot of me where it is, in that person and character, right? And a lot of what you see in Kokatsu's story when it comes to some of his decisions, not every decision, but some of his decisions, is some of the things of how I probably would want to act like, Because for lack of a better term, I am not that necessarily outspoken, crazy when it comes down to things, right? At least when it comes to the base things. I always spoke my mind when it comes to, how I kind of see things and how I see people and different situations. But I don't really get the chance to express myself, and I never really had to get the chance to express myself as a child, which is why I'm kind of like the way I am now. But I've always had opinions about certain things. I always thought about certain things in different ways that people didn't. And people, even pastors, have told me that I was wise beyond my years. And while I may not be smart academically, I always been smart in the section of life and how things kind of go and people and things like that in that sort, right? I may not have gotten right all the time, but I gotten it right a fair amount of times, honestly. And I find that a little bit more valuable than anything academically, even though that doesn't pay the bills, and I understand that. But still, it is when it comes down to, how I feel as a person. And having YouTube to be this gateway for me to express myself in some shape or form has also been a very helpful thing as well. And the fact that you guys are even here, I don't know if anybody from the LG days exists, honestly, but still, nonetheless, I'm very grateful for anybody that has tuned me on when it comes to the TV and is possibly watching through a TV right now, or maybe watching or listening through your phone or whatever device that you're using, essentially. It's kind of crazy that over 2,000 people kind of want to listen to what I have to say or think of my ideas, or often, send me art or money or whatever the hell else is, like, out there that wants to do whatever it takes to support me in some shape or form. I still find it kind of weird and crazy a little bit, because it has been a wild ass journey. It has been, right? Because there's been times where I'm just like, am I even doing this right? Is this even correct? Am I even, helping people out in some shape or form? I don't know. It's been 4 years. I'm still stuck in my position, but I don't necessarily know. Am I even doing the right thing? Should I even be doing content creation? I don't know. But it's just been a wild ride, honestly. And again, you guys make it a lot wilder than, I thought it would ever going to be. Because again, some of the art I've seen, whether it's me or whether it's Blue or whatever, it's just been a fun time. It's really been a fun time. And I thoroughly enjoy every part of it, to be perfectly honest. Even the nonsense when it comes to dumb people that keep trying to talk mad nonsense. It is what it is. But still, I enjoy every part of it because, one, it helps you develop as a character and a person, and two, it just kind of makes you want to do this more, right? Is that strange? Like, the very things that cause me an annoyance and pain that I don't necessarily want to deal with, yet it's still like, damn, this is exactly why I don't want to ever really give up. Because I know if for some possible reason, some God-given reason, if I'm able to make it as a creator, and if it happens and I start, being actually able to live life for once and do the things I've always wanted to do, I thoroughly hope that this will become like a motivational story for somebody else. Because again, look at the trash that I'm currently going through. Look at all the nonsense, and then look at what would happen if someone like me were to be able to reach the highest heights, get those sponsorships, actually collab with people that he wanted to, collab with for the longest of time, and possibly bring some other people out of their messes as well, if that is what is intended to happen, That would be a wild ass story. The most wildest underdog story ever. But, we have to see how that kind of goes. It's been 4 years. We've kind of been stuck in the same position, even though I've been trying to do everything I possibly can to change up what we do here. but also keep a base and kind of have some things to stick for people to stick around to. Because for the longest time, I was like, oh, I want to be random, and I don't necessarily want to, be attached to anything. But having a base to where people can stick with you helps a lot because, if people were to ask, what does Jay Senpai do or what is his whole thing, then you would have a lot of different responses, right? If anybody were to ask, because some people might say, oh, he's a lolicon man, or, somebody might say, oh, he likes, Gentai material, or like the waifu stuff, and he likes rates different characters of different shows and whatever, which I highly doubt that's the thing that people talk about. But still, nonetheless, there's plenty of things that kind of go all across the board when it comes about my name. More so the lolly stuff than anything, but it is what it is. But if I were to say anything at all, I would say the key things that kind of sticks around my name would be or things I would want at least, will be the waifu material, Koikatsu story, the artist appreciation, the lolly stuff, and then everything else is kind of miscellaneous, honestly, right? I feel like that's where a lot of that is, right? I do feel like that's where the base of this channel is, with those few things. The miscellaneous stuff is just the random things, and those really do be getting some wild in views sometimes. I don't know why, but it just does. And as weird as the YouTube beast is, I really can't control anything of what it does. Hell, the Kirby short that I made not too long ago, well, some time ago, with Kirby's new game where he swallowed a car, and I called it Vor. For some reason, that re-blew up. So I can't tell you again how YouTube works and why I'm still stuck in the same position. It's a weird beast. It really is. And to top it off with everything, it's just something out of my control. But I feel like even with something that is out of the control of the user, I do feel like there can be something amazing that can happen. It's just going to take some time. But if I were to be wanting to be known for anything though, I would say, well, the lot of stuff is already out there, so it is what it is on that front, so that's one. But mainly, I would say Koikatsu Store for me, because, to be honest, I didn't know what I really wanted to do or be when it comes to this channel. Because I always view Jay Senpai X4 as a different person, or someone that's not me. And then, really, when Blue kind of came into the picture and I had to dream about her, that's kind of when I kind of clicked and said, okay, I am that guy. Because, yeah, it's a bit more me turned out like a little bit higher, but it still is me at the end of the day, and, it is what it is. So, for the longest time, I didn't know if I was Jay Senpai X4. I didn't know if that's what I should view myself as. I thought I was just some, marketing tool of my own creation, and then just said, I'm gonna just act like I'm a different person. That's how it is. And that's kind of how I've been for like the longest time. Again, until Koikatsu Story kind of started, and then Blue came through the picture. And the more characters I created, the more of my emotions throughout these characters kind of just, infected the story and just kind of did its own thing. And now I'm just kind of like, I'm a bit of everything, right? But I'm mainly more so now in line with what Jay Senpai X4 is, because I hold that name as like not as a title, but as a goal to really reach, right? I feel like once I'm able to successfully succeed on here, then I have really claimed the name Jay Senpai X4, to be honest. And that's kind of the reason also I haven't really why I use the term Kohai so much to, refer to you guys, because it just, I don't know if I have earned that yet. I don't know if I really earned that yet, just at all. I haven't really thought about calling myself a senpai at all, because, there's definitely some things that I don't necessarily know if I'm sure on regarding this channel and just in general, because there's a lot of times where I don't necessarily talk to anybody outside of YouTube and whatever. And, it's not because I don't want to, but sometimes I just don't know what to say, what to post or anything. And, I want every single video, every single post that I do to be of value, not necessarily just a waste of somebody's time, essentially. And that's kind of how I feel. So, I don't want to just waste anybody's time regarding anything. And that's like the biggest key thing, right? Every single video, even if it's not necessarily the most heavily edited video in the world, it's still something I'm like, well, I want people to spend their time to watch it, because time outside of money is like the most valuable thing ever. You can't get your time back. You know, you might get the rest of years restored to you, but still, you only get your time once, and I don't want to waste that on anybody. So if I'm gonna say something, even if it's a meme, I want it to be a well-developed meme. Or if it's a silly ass video, I want it to be a silly video where I feel like, okay, somebody watches for 10 seconds, that might cheer them up, or maybe give them a way to laugh, or something like that, right? And that's kind of what I've been aiming for every single time, right? So I never really wanted to just, really when I started, I never really wanted to do it off of money or clout, or, well, at least the clout that's like really annoying, right? I didn't never really wanted to do it in that sort of way, but I always wanted to do something special in some shape and form that reaches a lot of people however it can. And it's just been a challenge. It's been a very much a big challenge, and it's not necessarily something that's completely easy, if you can believe it, right? So it's tough, you know, especially after moving away from the Danganronpa days, because I know a lot of people wanted me to stick with Danganronpa for a long time. Some people left, and some people were challenged with the idea of having me actually go and turn VTuber-ish. And that was like a thing that was also a struggle at times too. But it was something I wanted to do, because I felt like not a lot of people have seen the actual vision of what I wanted this channel to be. And this is part of it, of what I want this channel to be, honestly. There is still plenty of things that, you know, I want to do. Plenty of reasons of why I want this YouTube success a lot. And plenty of childhood dreams I still gotta complete and do. Like go to Japan, obviously, which is a common thing that people want to do. But it wasn't as common as it was when back in early 2000s and all that other time, right? People would want to go to different places, sure. But specifically, I wanted to go over to really China at first, but then I realized how racist that was over there, so I wanted to go to Japan. And also, I thought China made anime for the longest time as a child. I don't know why, but then I learned Japan did, so I'm like, okay, let's just go to Japan then, right? And for, you know, the longest time, I wanted to go over there in some shape and form. And that's still a thing I want to do. Me and my brother had thought that for a long ass time, and that's something that I still have to feel like I need to do, you know? And that's a part of the reason why I still try to keep going with those goals and dreams that I had way back when. And then still some current goals, like I still want to make an anime. That's still like a thing that I absolutely need and have to do. And it feels like that's what I'm really leaning towards doing once the success actually happens, you know? And that's like, again, a big major thing, right? It's just a lot to it, honestly. And I guess that's kind of also the reason why I was so heavily focused on the dream aspect of Tonkatsu story a little bit too, because with each character they have their own ideas and what they want to do and their own goals as well, and it's something I easily relate to. I think anybody can easily relate to. But even with as much nonsense gets chucked their way, they, you know, they might get discouraged, but they don't necessarily want to give up on what they're trying to do at all. And, you know, even if we look at someone like, you know, Shoko, with how many times she got her ass whooped in fights and whatever, she still tries her best to continue forward because she wants to be that pillar of hope or something to lean on for everybody else, you know? And if you really look at the characters, each of them has their own effects and stories, whether you understand it completely or not. Blue wants to rebel against everything because of the society and the world that keeps pulling her back, and basically try to reach her ultimate goals of what she wants. Shoko wants to be that pillar for everyone. You know, Aoki basically was thrusted upon responsibilities that she didn't really want to deal with, but she still basically tries to do what she can and goes forward, right? In Symphony's case, which this is kind of spoilerish, but it is what it is, she basically was thrown away and basically saw no value in herself, and something has to change for that to happen to make her actually start caring, you know? Shion was a person that was basically thrown into a lot of random situations and thought this was all was there is to their life and whatever. And now maybe they might see something a little bit differently. Again, each character has their own motivations and different stuff, but it's something relatable with each character, I would imagine, and something that's a gigantic part of what they feel is a big part of me as well. And it's something that I thoroughly want to explore within those stories, but also show to a lot of people, you know? I am a person that is very fixated on dreams and want to accomplish said dreams as well. Even if it's impossible, even if it's the weirdest thing, even if it doesn't make any sense, I still want to try to complete it and, see how far we can actually get with it, And that's something that's always been a part of me when it comes to, things of the sort. I don't want to just do anything for a small run or just do anything just to satisfy myself. I want everybody to see, much less I want everybody to feel the effects of what I'm trying to do, And hopefully it ends up being in a good way and not a bad one. After doing YouTube for 4 years, I have seen plenty of people got backstabbed, got doxxed, got leaked information, people that thought they could trust end up, betraying them, and very little good things happen, or people come together with good things. Very little of it, and it just shows me how wild, toxic, and disease-ridden, honestly, a lot of the internet really is. And maybe I'm not necessarily on that level yet, and maybe I might never really get to that level, honestly, but still, nonetheless, I want to continue moving forward, having that courage, so if someone sees me, maybe it might change them around, or maybe it might necessarily make them do some good or something like that, right? I don't just come up here just to satisfy myself. I come up here to try to change people's perspectives. If anything, I want people to basically reflect on themselves, to kind of see what life are they living, what are they actually doing in some shape or form, and is they trying to do anything different to maybe achieve their goal, or maybe to be better, or something of the sort, right? It's a weird thing to kind of get from this channel. I mean, for all somebody that might just be watching this video and don't necessarily know anything about me, they might be thinking, oh, this person just talks about, adult content a lot of the time, and jokes around and do all this type of stuff. But there is a very much hungry, striving, angry, and very passionate individual underneath all this stuff, regardless of how you feel, how you think. Because again, there's a lot of stuff I want to do, a lot of stuff I need to beat, and a lot of accomplishments that need to be going towards my way. And every single time, as you have seen, every single time I try to go for something, nothing really works out. And it doesn't necessarily matter what I do, how I change it up, how things go. It doesn't necessarily go until it's just time for some reason, And while I am patient, I am not that patient on it. I'll be very honest with you. We've been here for 4 years. This 4th year should be the year of everything changing, whether it's good or for the worse, I don't necessarily know, but this should be the 4th year of everything being culminated, from what happened back then to really my entire life to everything that happens now, right? So going forward, when it comes to this channel, I don't want this channel to just be something for me to satisfy for myself. I don't want this channel to just be something I take lightly or anything of the sort. As I said before, I don't have anything else to lose, honestly. I have a house that's pretty much, worse for wear, that's basically could be taken up any day by somebody else. There is, the college thing that kind of happened that I got kicked out of, or basically can't go back into, so I basically lost my associate's degree on that. And there's plenty of other things that you guys just do not necessarily know or understand how things kind of got to this point, or even in my own brain and on my own mental self, how things are. But I don't want it to just be this channel just to cry or satisfy my own needs and things like that. I want everybody to come together to kind of just, see one individual, try to do something, and maybe that might bring up other individuals to do something themselves, right? Recently, I seen a lurker that was on the channel that honestly dropped a very long and very, I guess, detailed, comment regarding one video. And I'm like, these are the people I want to see often a lot more. These are the people I want to speak out a lot more, because I know they don't. I know people got their own struggles and their own problems, but I want to see them try to reach out more, try to do what they can. Because at the end of the day, if you don't ever try to reach out, that's probably the worst thing that you could possibly do, you know? And I know it's scary. Hell, even if I were to get like 1 million today, I'm going to be scared 100%, because I don't know what the hell is going to happen. I don't know what the hell this is, right? I never had 1 million people look at me before. I never had 2,000 people look at me before. Thinking about the number, if I were in a room with 2,000 people, they only came there specifically to see me, I'd be kind of freaking out of my mind a little bit. Just a little bit. But nonetheless, regardless of the number, regardless of how things kind of goes, I still want to see it. I still want to basically get there at the end of the day, right? Because there's still plenty of things I want to do, and there's plenty of people I want to reach out to, right? Whether it's me trying to reach out in a way for, potential opportunities, but also people that may need that hope in their life, and hopefully I've been providing that in some shape or form. Maybe not every single time. Maybe people get annoyed at me complaining about money constantly, and I absolutely understand it. But still, nonetheless, I would like to hope that this channel gives somebody some type of hope in some shape or form. Even if it's not the most positive thing in the world, maybe it's not the most cleanest thing in the world, but it's something for somebody, and hopefully that might do something in the end of all things, right? I don't know how I'm going to edit this video. I don't know how I'm going to go about this, honestly. But the point is, as JSenpai Explored, as the person that made this channel and honestly wanted to see what potentially could happen regarding everything, it is my honor to be just in your presence when it comes to, speaking and making these videos as much as I do. But it's also like my mission to try to make at least the people that does pay attention, try to get them to see things in a better perspective, right? And maybe change their minds on how people are, and maybe realize that there is some decent people that's out there, and focus on what actually is what's needed to be focused on, and not necessarily give two damns about what is being talked about you or anything like that, right? Because there's plenty of times I could have easily folded and just said, alright, now listen here, you N-word, and all that type of stuff. But what will be the point? It's just a waste of time at the end of the day. When I'm talking about someone else that's talking mad shit to me, I could be giving you another Kokatsu story. We could be doing another waifu material video. The list of things that we could be doing outside of hatred is endless, right? But so many creators, hell, YouTube itself even focus on negative content way more than it does positive. And that's just incredibly annoying, right? So the point is, I don't want this channel to just be just a thing for me, but I want it to be for everyone in the way that I intended it to be, right? So when it comes down to things, I just hope that within this 4th year of operation, that things will go a lot better. Things will start moving and picking up the pace, because things are just getting worse and worse for me. But still, nonetheless, I just want this channel to be a real deal, legitimate, ironically, safe haven for everybody that really wants to strive for something greater, something better. And if the day does come, if God allows it, where we can necessarily, have this channel to grow and actually become really successful in some shape or form, and to a position where I don't have to worry about money ever again, or where the food is going to come from and anything like that, and starving myself half the time, then hopefully with that, maybe we can actually bring up some other people to be positive, and maybe someone else could be inspired from my own story if that's the case, So when it comes down to things, as unremarkable as I kind of am off screen and off camera or real off recording, I try to do whatever I possibly can to not only progress myself, but try to progress others in some shape and form. Because I know y'all go through the same amount of struggles I do. I know a lot of y'all don't have money either. I know a lot of y'all really tired of how things is. But still, the whole point and premise is just to not give up. Especially if you believe that your dream is valuable and your future should be better than what it is, then why the hell not fight for it though, right? I don't want to be somebody that complains about, oh, I ain't never gonna do this, I might as well die, or something like that. I don't want to ever get to that point or be around that type of energy, because that energy sours mine and it doesn't necessarily help on anything. It just keeps me still in the same position I've been in for the last 4 years. So I don't want that anymore. So when it comes down to things, if you do want to continue with this journey with me, then let's go ahead and get our dreams together. And if you're someone that's new, then please come through and subscribe to this channel, because we're gonna do a lot of things that is hopefully beyond bonkers and crazy, and every content creator is gonna be like, what the hell is wrong with this boy? But then when you really look at the nitty-gritty details of things, then you start to realize that, oh shit, this boy is kind of on something, just a little bit. He's still wild, but he's on something, right? There's still plenty of things we gotta do. In a more ridiculous ass note, I still gotta touch the cosplayer titty. I still have to do that, because I said it before, and I will not stop until I go to an anime convention, Anime Expo most likely, and be able to get consent and touch titty. If I can't do that, I failed 100%, right? So, you know, there's plenty of things that we gotta do, right? Definitely, there's plenty of things we gotta do, you know? I wanna be recognized by Ishibumi, the creator of High School DxD, a little bit, so I can be with Konako in some type of official capacity, right? There's some things that gotta happen, right? There's some things that just gotta happen. It is what it is for your boy. But point is, with your support though, with all the things that's happened, with everything that's gone down, I'm just grateful to be here, just grateful to make content. And even though I don't have everything I need right now, I'm still 100% just happy that I was even given this, you know, YouTube a chance and a try to see what could potentially happen, you know? And again, who knows if we'll even make it? Who knows if we even get 10K this year? But regardless, I still wanted to try something, focus, and just keep it a stack with what we are and what we do, right? We ain't gonna be agreeable on all occasions. We're not gonna make friends with everybody on all occasions. But we're gonna just do our best and try to stay, you know, ourselves and not try to shift and change up. Because the one thing I hate about content creators, and I will say this on any hill, I don't care who you are, if you have to fake your personality to actually get to the status of where you are, you ain't shit. I'll just be honest with you. You really ain't. A real person would honestly stay to what they are in the very beginning and try to do what they can with it, right? Learn and grow as a person and not try to fake it to make it. That's absolutely not the code is when it comes down to this, and definitely I don't necessarily care for those people at all. It's why I don't necessarily watch a lot of people, if I'm being honest. But that is essentially what I have to say for this one. So a long topic and probably a lot of Kokatsu pictures just in the background, but hopefully nonetheless you still did enjoy, right? Again, this is a journey with particularly no ending until the day I die. And when it comes down to things, I hopefully will hope to inspire a lot more people and a lot more things to happen, and just to give it a fair shake, honestly, for everybody else as well, right? I can't tell you when this channel's gonna blow up. I can't tell you if we'll even make it. I can't even tell you I'm gonna live tomorrow. But I'm gonna try to do my absolute best to make sure that everything works out in the ways I hope it does, and try to work for the things that I really want to see and happen, right? So yeah, every day is potentially could be your last, so might as well try to bust your balls and go as hard as you possibly can, even if you don't feel like it sometimes. But yeah, that's essentially what I have for you. But hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification on your way out. Also follow me on the socials, and if you'd like to donate to the channel, Patreon is available as well. And hopefully we get to see another more 4 years of this crazy ass boy. And until then, this is your boy Jay, sign off. Have a blessed day.